Hey there, this is Matt Bateman from Chiropractor once again, and we're going to run through a couple of really simple points about a common running injury today. Running injury is called plantar fasciitis. I've just come back in. I've just done a 17-mile run. I'm sort of just trying to increase my mileage in time for the Brighton Marathon in the 9th of April. Potentially I'm a little bit behind schedule, but yeah, that's debatable. Running today, it's a horrible day in Brighton. It's very windy, it's wet, it's cold, it's very misty. I was a bit slow today, but one of the key things is actually today, in between miles 5 and 12, okay, I was running into a driving wind, and it made me pretty slow. And I was thinking about some of the common injuries that actually occur when running, and particularly when people are trying to increase the mileage. One of those is plantar fasciitis. Okay. So we're going to go through plantar fasciitis a little bit. So taking the shoe off, plantar fascia, okay, is actually all the connective tissue underneath the foot. Okay, where it actually goes from, excuse my ugly feet. Okay, where it actually goes from is it strictly connects from the calcaneus, the heel, comes up and then attaches into this ray of bones up here, or this combination of bones up here, okay, and then works as like almost like a cling film like sheath, okay, a connective tissue sheath that sits underneath the foot. Now when it gets stretched by either when the foot elongates or if it falls in, or various other mechanisms that cause it to stretch, it can cause a lot of pain, sort of sharp pain. People commonly experience the pain sort of on the inside of the heel there, or coming up into this realm of the foot, but basically under the foot. Okay, it can even be sometimes around the heel as well. But it can be very sharp pain and extremely painful for weight bearing, so when you're putting the foot on the floor. Now, what happens is, effectively, because the plantar fascia is pretty tight, or potentially you're overloading that plantar fascia, it then causes pain. So what do we need to do? We need to take some pressure off it. Okay. The classic things that we normally tell patients when they're experiencing plantar fascia is to stretch off the tissues such as the calf muscles, the Achilles, that then come round and add tension to the plantar fascia. So even just a simple straight leg calf stretch, okay. This you might already know this one. Just a simple straight leg calf stretch, just against the wall, okay. Keeping the legs straight. You can also then increase some load into what's called the soleus by dropping the knee down, okay, like that. But basically a nice straight leg calf stretch, okay, is ideal. Okay, what we also do is we get our patients to do a bit of foam rolling, okay, so you can put as much or as little pressure in. I'm not actually going to put too much pressure in at the moment because my calves are quite sore, but you can just foam roll through the calf muscles like that, okay, and just take a little bit of tension off it. Okay, foam roll for a little bit longer than I've just done, about a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes or so. Put as much pressure in as you want. You can also do a similar foam rolling technique to the actual plantar fascia itself. Okay, what I tend to recommend to patients is take a bottle of water, okay, put it in the freezer, make it hard, obviously fill it with water. Put it in the freezer so it's rock solid and it's cold, obviously. Then what you can do, this is not a bottle of water, this is just massage cream, okay? But what you can do then is just work the plantar fascia into that bottle of water, okay? And then just work through any bits that cause pain, really put some pressure into these areas, load as much weight as you want or as you feel comfortable in that, okay? And that can really help. Okay, so firstly, when these tissues are too tight, okay, the plantar fascia, the calf muscles, okay, and the Achilles, etc., then that can cause a bit of problems. So we get you to stretch and elongate those. Secondly, what can cause a problem, okay, is when we do what we call pronation. Okay, so our foot, when we land, okay, our foot should land through the outside, come onto the big toe, and then we come off of that big toe as we run forward. People who we say pronate, what they do is they come in, they go through the outside, and they fall in quite a lot. So what happens then is the arch in the foot falls in, okay, and stretches all of this tissue down here. If I do it on a hard surface, so you can actually see better on underneath, when the foot pronates, it drops in like that, okay? And it stretches all of this tissue there. So as I said, from the top, so if you're looking down on your foot, as you come over the foot, if it starts to arch, if the knee comes in like that, okay, that's what we call pronation. If you feel like you're potentially pronating, you need to take some advice from either a podiatrist, chiropractor, physiotherapist. Okay, these practitioners, particularly if they've got experience in running and treating athletes, will be able to give you some good advice on what you can do to prevent that pronation. Okay, so that's arguably one of the main aspects that can cause plantar fasciitis. Thirdly, and again, this is a big favourite of mine, a bit debatable, but the big toe. Okay, if this big toe, okay, won't extend like that, then sometimes, okay, it can put a lot of pressure on the plantar fasciitis. Sorry, onto the plantar fascia. Okay, if your shoes are potentially lifted up like that, okay, these are just my standard running shoes at the moment, as opposed to being nice and flat like that, okay, then sometimes that can force the big toe into extension and then ramp up a bit of tension up there, okay. So again, these are all pernickety aspects of plantar fasciitis, but effectively, if the calf muscles are very, very tight, if the Achilles is tight, then you're going to need to actually do some work in there. If you feel that potentially that you pronate, okay, when you run, then you're going to have to gain some advice through that. And if you've noticeably got some problems with your big toe, getting some soreness in that big toe doesn't move very much, then again you're going to need some advice. But these are aspects that we can help you with. But yourself, I said the classics are keep a note, keep a real sort of mental note on stretching off the calf muscles, foam rolling the calf muscles, foam rolling your plantar fascia, trying to keep a nice neutral foot when you're running, forefoot running. You can look at some other videos and that's loads, and that's always a great start. Okay, all right, take care guys, enjoy your training if you're training, otherwise just enjoy your running. Take care and bye bye.